Next, we have the concept of tilde expansion. The tilde character matches the current user's home directory. We can also use the tilde command to reference the user that we'd like to interact with. In other words, it doesn't always have to be used for the current user you're logged in as. We can see some example of this below, and we'll jump into our terminal to replicate this demonstration. We can see our current working directory is the home student glob directory we were just in. If we ls tilde, that references home student, and we can see the contents of the home student. If we ls tilde student, we can see the exact same by specifying the username. Since we are the student user, this information matches, but we can use tilde to replace with other usernames. In this case, the root user is not a user we have access to their files, and therefore cannot see the listing. We also have a demo user that we don't have access to as well. Moving from the table we saw above into brace expansion, braces allow us a way to clearly delineate out some other ways for pattern matching that can make our commands more simplified or explicit for matching purposes. The braces themselves will contain a comma-separated list of strings or a sequence expression. This allows for some more explicit matching scenarios or expansions depending on our usage. Let's take a look at a few examples as we jump back into the terminal. We remember creating a number of files that all had the same file structure essentially, like snap1, snap2, snap3.jpg. We can use our braces to go ahead and create files in a more elegant fashion using the brace annotation. If we wanted to touch a file that was called snap and we needed snap 1 through 6, we have a way to use braces, 2 braces, and then the extension.jpg. Now all of them will take this form snap, some other character.jpg. And what we want them to have within is the numbers 1. And then if we wanted to, we could iterate this all the way up however high we'd like to go. Here, we can see an example in the notes of iterating all the way up to numbers 1 through 3. In this case, they're using the echo command. I'll continue to do this work using the touch command. Let's do file 1 through 3 of snap.jpg using the touch command. When I then type ls, we can see that snap 1, 2, and 3 was also created. Creating files in this fashion allows us to easily create files of a like name structure with simple annotations in the braced syntax. We can do more explicit things by combining some braced syntax expansions. If we touch file, and let's say each one needs to have a letter and then a number, and we want to create all combinations of 1 and 2 for the number and A and B for the letter. We'll do the first set of braces with 1 through 2. I'm going ahead and writing it out as if this could be a very large range, but with numbers 1 and 2, you have just the 2 entries themselves and could have just listed them explicitly. Then we'll do A through B and give it the extension we'd like to add to that file. When we look and see what was created, you can see that we have file 1A, file 1B, file 2A, and file 2B.txt that got created. Lastly, we can embed one set of braces within another. This allows us to have differing sets of files created depending on our needs. Let's say file A has a version 1 and 2. Let me do something different than files so that we get different files output. File, let's still say A, but let's say A has a 1 and a 2, whereas B and C can just be comma separated values. Let's just call this .out to get a different file extension. We then take a look and we get test A1.out, test A2.out, but then test B and test C do not have the 1 and 2 versions. In this way, you can craft together all the various brace syntaxes you need for these expansions. A practical use as called out within the instruction set here for brace expansion is to quickly create a number of files or directories for your work. You can see an example of the make directory command here, creating a Rails 6, Rails 7, and Rails 8 directory. While this is a real-world use case, you can see that it's not limited to just the make directory command and can be used for copy, move, touch, echo, make directory, or even remove commands. Brace expansion is valuable all throughout the Bash terminal.